Hello, fellow Factorians, and welcome back to my Pyanodons challenge run. During the last episode, the biggest thing that I did was setting up a huge og slaughtering area. Yeah, those poor guys, they need to feed my factory just like everything else that is out here. I also did a little bit of work on my mall and my train bots, and that's going to continue during this episode. I set up a few of the gene labs and some of the work that I need to do to make animal samples, getting us closer to logistics science. But I need to finish that off, as well as more steps toward logistics science during this episode. During the hands-off period, science was running fine, other than a brief period where I marked some copper mines for deconstruction, and that turned out to cut off water, so I undid that. I don't think that counts as a failure. It didn't drop me that low anyway. I also ran around and set up one of the next test builds I'll do for my train bots, and a blueprint that I'm going to be using to make biological samples. Today is going to be a little bit of an unfocused episode, I think. There are just so many different tasks that I need to chase down. I'm not even sure how much I'll get through all of it, but I am aiming for logistics science to be started either next episode or the ones after that, depending on how smoothly things go in the upcoming few hours. For this time-lapse period, by the way, I've decided that I'm not going to create montages. That would be even more work, and I'm already releasing episodes slower than I would like. So what instead I'm going to do is I'm going to run them at the current time speed that you see right now, which is 30:1. I'm going to run them past my normal intro and just add music to it. I will also add a timestamp to the video, so if you want to skip this set of music once you hear me stop talking, or you can just from now on skip the voice if you want to, but it'll lead you right to the start of me actually playing the game. So we'll see how that goes, and you could give me feedback on that. Anyway, I will jump into the episode after the music. Don't you just love when you record a whole episode and it turns out you didn't have your mic on for the whole time? So yeah, that happened. So if it looks like I know a little bit too much about what's going to happen next in this episode, that is why. Let's jump into hands-on mode and start running through the mental checklist of things that I need to do It is so long that I'm sure I will make entirely new mistakes this episode, so don't worry about that for those of you who watch to see me goof up. First thing I want to do is over here. I want to stop making some of these intermediates and kind of finish out making all the cotton guts that I was making here. The cotton gut studs, rather. Let me turn that off. Let me turn off the insertion of seaweed over here. I also want to make sure that I stop making the starch. So I'm going to connect up this, and we'll only turn this on if there is some fiberboard sitting here. And that will take care of that, because yeah, what I'm ideally going to do is get rid of as many of the intermediates here as possible, so I don't have to have a box with a bunch of junk that I cannot get rid of or use for another 200 hours or so. We'll also turn off this guy. He doesn't need to go back and get more tin. And this one, is there enough stuff in here to finish out your job? Yeah, let's just assume that there is. These 3 caravans can just keep waiting here and delivering with the supplies they have. So I'd like to finish out these cotton gut foods, the starch, etc., and not have like this box over here of rich clay and ground samples that I made like 200 hours ago and will finally, during this episode today, be able to use. Yeah, let's tear down some of this stuff. I'm going to be tearing down the rest of this build toward the end, I think. Keep that around because it's still useful for making the cotton gut studs. Okay, wander away from that. Next item on the agenda. Next item on the agenda is to work on my trainbot/mall system after I put away all of these treated woods. So I have a few issues that my trainbot system has helped me figure out about my mall. One of the issues is this. These items that I grab off of the mall sushi belt demanded from this constant combinator worked kind of fine when it was the only thing demanding those items, but when the train bot started demanding them, unfortunately I had configured them this badly, and it kept taking those items off of the belt, even though it got the items that it wanted. So my train bots never got, for instance, this construction zone extender because that inserter was stealing them away. So instead, I'm going to put those into a box to be reinserted when there's demand, and I'm also going to be setting up something here to go ahead and just take the items that they want off of the belt. There's some circuitry there to kind of detect if I've got enough, and it'll work a little bit better, although I want to increase the amount of medium power poles that I'm asking for. Okay, so that's one error that I've taken care of in the mall, but it's not the only one. Of course it's not. Let's grab some more bots here, because, I don't want to forget that, because I'm going to be using them very soon. Next item is I'm going to make my train come here and pick up items and fill up this cargo wagon full of items that I want to make for the drop-off the drop-off stations for train bots. So let's configure this guy to actually go to that stop, because the train has to register that it's gone to that stop. I can't just manually park it there and it'll figure out for itself. So I'm going to go ahead and create an interrupt that hopefully only fires when I want it to, because I'm going to set up to fire manually. Basically, I want a certain condition that never is true. Although I've run into problems doing this sort of thing, it ends up keeping the temporary stop around when I don't want it to, and I don't really have a good solution for that in mind. So if somebody in the comments wants to comment a better way to do this, feel free. But yeah, what I wanted to do is go to this stop, and that should start sending a signal through of items that the mall should deliver over here. So yeah, I need to lower this goat's combinator amount. I was way too aggressive about how many of those I wanted, and I'm only going to manually make those. I'm not going to add this to the mall. But one thing I do want to add to the mall is rails. In my bootstrap base, I make rails, and I'm not going to set up more rail production inside of the mall, because the Actually takes a lot of materials to make rails. Hint, hint, one of those materials is running really short, and that's something that I'm going to be addressing during this episode as well. And I've got a huge stockpile of rails as well, so I don't really need to set up something to grab to make even more of them. So that's taken care of. Next item, I want to add advanced foundries to the mall. I don't have those in there, and for today's build, they're going to be necessary, so I'm going to add that. I'm also going to fix this assembler that uses pipes. Makes pipes. I added that last time, and I kind of used both of the inserters that interact with the sushi belt to put pipes on, and forgot that I needed to grab fuel off of it. So that is fixed, and I'm going to add the advanced foundries. Be right back. All right, so I've done that, and I need to tell my mall that I can make advanced foundries and rails now so that it stops warning me that I can't. So we'll just add those two items to the constant combinator here, and we'll move on to the next task. Okay, and now it should stop complaining at me eventually. Next item. Next item is I want to set up steel production on my train network. So this is the first build that is actually going to do something useful for me. And what it's going to do is supplement my non-existent steel supply. So we'll have a belt coming in with some steel, and I'm going to funnel that into the mall in a second. After I move this because it's kind of in an annoying location on my walking path. Okay, there, that's taken care of. So yeah, let me run off and make a steel production area, or at least make the drop-off station, because I'm going to be using trade bots there to build that, of course. And I also want to test out a change to my train bot design drop-off station because it's going to help alleviate a problem that I'm currently having, which is too many items being put into the sushi belt here. Too many items are requested sometimes, and the reason they get requested is because the bots will be in flight, and when they're in flight carrying an item to go and build it, the ghost scanner doesn't know that the bots are carrying those items. So the ghost scanner suddenly says, oh, those items that you delivered are no longer there, and those buildings aren't built. Let's add those to the request. And, the bots can be flying for a minute, like they could stop off. They're very lazy and need some more energy, whatever what their deal is. So I'll end up with a bunch of extra items, either on the mall sushi belt or more often on the train sushi belt. See, there you go. No, I don't want you to go ahead and do that. Go back to where I told you to go. Yeah. If anybody has a really good solve for this, I would really love to hear it because it happens so often. It's probably something really dumb and easy that I should have thought of a while ago, but yeah, let me know. So I'm going to make a small change to how my train drop-off stations work here, and I can actually go ahead and grab everything from the train and build it out. I should have everything now in my inventory. Perfect. And the change is that I'm going to read the number of available and total construction bots inside of the RoboPort network. What this should let me do is say, okay, if a bot is flying, any bot is flying, don't send your signal through, and no demands will be going through. And therefore, what should happen is that the amount of overbuilding should go away, hopefully down to 0. I'm not sure if it'll be 0. That's why we're going to test and find out. So that train can sit there for a minute because one of the other items on my item checklist is I have to remember to bring water to this build. Also have to remember to bring water to the borax build that I set up earlier. So yeah, a little bit of manual construction because I don't want to set up construction zone extenders just for one pipeline. All right, that pipeline is built, and I do see something being put onto the C channel. This is a C channel trainbot station, so hopefully that will get done on time. Now, next item on the checklist is to run down here. I need to make a few adjustments to this copper mine. Yeah, it's continues to fade out, and I'll need to fix that up. So I'll be right back after I've done that. Also grab a few of the miners that have died in this iron area, although this one is still going strong. There was enough oversupply there. Okay, and that should keep this copper belt going for a little bit longer because, yeah, it's not going to be here forever. Let's add a little bit more production here. Okay, next item on, yeah, the mental checklist that I've repeated several times. I didn't put it all in my task list because my task list is not really sorted, and because there's so many little details that storing it in the old noggin for now seemed like the wiser choice. Probably not the wisest choice. Okay, this stuff is getting built. Awesome. I'm going to run over here and build out the water line that I need for this area. Also need to remember I need to fix a few of these combinators in here because they had issues, transcription errors when I originally built them. Transcription errors as in my own mistakes. But yeah, there was a wire that was not connected and a setting that was wrong, other than for this A station, which had been fixed up. So yeah, let me remind myself to do that as well. Time to head back to base. No, actually, I need to go over here. Instead of heading back to base, I'm going to go and clean up that logs build. There's a lot of leftover items up there, and I can turn some of them into useful things in my mall, so I will just go grab as much as I can fit into my inventory. Also, I need to fix this little missing hole that was in the moss farms because, yeah, there was a tree there, I guess, at one point. Let's grab that and then start taking items back. Now the borax build is also done, so fantastic. Making significant progress here. Would still need to have syngas delivered to actually have anything happen over here, but I can take back the items here as well as grabbing some of the bots. And my cleanup train is even doing its job. Just have to remember to grab most of the bots out of that build. I'll leave a few in there, but one of the benefits of my whole train taxi situation here is that I can economize on construction bots. So let's go back home, take all the spoils that I've saved from these builds, and get on with the next thing. And also shut this off so that it stops alerting me that it is finished. Okay, next item on the agenda is to actually go down here and finish off this build. Not only do I want to finish off the gene labs that I didn't have last session, but there's a lot more down here to build out. So I'm going to grab as many of the materials as I can to finish this piece up, and we'll see how far along I get. I'll talk you through what's down there once I'm there. Yeah, it looks like my train system right here is actually loading up things for me to do a future drop-off station. But for now, I'm going to take this train down. Well, let's drive it around for a little bit. I need to pick up the items from my cotton guts build as well. Yeah, I'm trying to dovetail as much work as possible with all the train trips that I'm doing. I've got so many things in my inventory, but I've got a little bit of room to take some cotton gut studs down there. And I also want to check in and see how I'm doing on cleaning up that cotton guts build. And the answer is actually pretty good. Yeah, it looks like I'm actually making decent progress. I'll use up either all of the cotton gut studs food or the cotton gut studs pup, and the rest of this stuff can be cleaned up. So I will do that after I get done with that build. But let's move on to what we would call the meat of the episode, but is actually a relatively small portion because the other ingredients for logistics science take a small amount of finishing. Small in the sense that the buildings are actually relatively few. So we've already started building out the stuff for animal samples. That's one of the 4 ingredients in logistics science. They take a whole bunch of OG slaughtering products as well as plasmids. They're also the first recipe that we've got that will spoil and is made of spoilable items. So we'll have special handling here to make sure that the animal samples can be used up. So the other ingredients in logistics science, which we'll just review real quick, are present and ready to be consumed. The other items are batteries, which we've had for quite a while, and we've been using them to accelerate simple circuits. The animal samples, poor alien samples, which is what we're going to be working on today, and the solidified sarcoras, which I haven't started up, but is actually ready to go as soon as we get it, hook up the last little bits and stop worrying about the spoilage that will be generated by them. So I'm going to start putting together some of the ancillary bits out here. Oops, looks like I missed a power pole. For instance, we're going to need to pass in Relesia seeds into this build, so I'm going to put down some nurseries. But once we get into the nitty gritty, I'll tell you more about it. All right, as you've seen with the gene samples, each of the different animal products has its own belt here. Because at the end of the line here, I'm going to have ways to deal with those animal products when they overflow. I also need to deal with the plasmids that the animal samples can spoil into. So they're going to loop back to right before the caravan that is bringing in the plasmids that we make. That's how we handle that, and those products are going to be running down to the research labs where we assemble the logistics science out of the 4 different potential ingredients that we've got. 2 of them are being brought in on caravans, and then the actual science is going to be taken away on caravans. This is probably one of the last usage of caravans that we're going to have. So another reason to clean up that cotton guts build is to recycle some of the caravans that are part of that build because they're only there temporarily. So the laboratory is pretty straightforward. They just take the 4 different ingredients and turn them into logistics signs. There's a bunch of belt weaving in the middle here, my favorite style of building that brings them back out to this caravan outpost. And then there is that one more science ingredient that I need to talk about, and also realize that I forgot one of the buildings that I need to bring. That was inevitable, but c'est la vie. Let me build a couple of assemblers here to finish this out as well. So the last ingredient is poor alien samples. And I guess I will walk through the chain of things that need to be made for poor alien samples backward. One of the items is the ground sample. Ground sample is the simpler one. You take rich clay, which you make out of ash and water, and you combine it with soil that I'm going to make on site, and it gets turned into the rich clay, some of which I need to remember I've got in a box that I need to bring over here. Oops, and I also cannot make a boiler, so I'll have to come back with more of those as well. I'm bringing in on a belt, or I will be bringing in on a belt, both native flora and some coal. Not raw coal, but the stuff you get from processing the raw coal through a secondary crusher. So it's coal and crushed coal and coal dust. And then I'm going to burn those inside of boilers to provide the ash for the rich clay. The ash will get direct inserted, and then with the steam that I make from that production, I'm going to make bone meal. Bone meal is another ingredient that I need for this science pack. So going back through the system, as we just explained, ground samples. Next, we're going to explain biological samples, because there wasn't enough biological gook inside of these logistics packs as it was. So biological samples. For that, we need bone meal, native flora, incubated petri dishes, urea, and Relesia seeds. Relesia seeds are already coming in on a belt from nurseries that turn the flowers back into seeds. The bone meal, we're going to use the bones that we don't use to make animal samples, and some steam to turn them to make the bone meal. Urea, it's another caravan that's going to be coming in, bringing in from where our battery build is already making an excess of it. And native flora is going to be coming in on a belt from way over here, along with the coal stuff. Finally, I think that's it. Yeah. The petri dishes are going to be made as soon as I get these microorganism mines. So besides that, I think this is, it's a very intricate build because, of course, I've done as much direct insertion as I can, and I jammed it all together and fit it into this little space because that's just how I roll. But what's funny about it is how few buildings this particular set of stuff needs. Like, even though I'm at 300x and I'm going to be running logistics science at 240 per minute, I still get away with like only one assembler to make poor alien samples, only one automated factory, which is an assembler, to make the biological samples, one for rich clay. It's kind of funny. And then like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of moss farms and Vrauk farms and og paddocks and etc. to make all the alien life stuff. So I'm going to finish out building this stuff, put down the secondary crushers for the coal and that long belt that is bringing the coal and native flora in. I won't put in the native flora lines because I think even though that gives me 5 hours to avoid spoilage, and I do have some anti-spoilage mechanisms, I don't want to gamble on finishing that before the native flora starts spoiling. And then, how come I can't? Oh, there's a rock in the way. That's why. And then, yeah, we'll move on to the next thing. So, be back in a bit. Was just checking that my train bot was working okay, because I would really like that steel build to be finished by the end of this episode so I can hook it up and start collecting steel from it. Like, because these chests are never going to fill up at the rate we're going right now. I'll, in fact, take away some of them because hopefully in the future I will not be using this steel buffer for them all. I'll be using a different steel buffer. All right, let's grab the items for the rest of that build down there. And yeah, I'll finish this up. Got a little bit more cleanup work done on my cotton gut stud area. I'm just going to keep grabbing things from that as whenever I'm running down here to kind of dovetail the work in the two areas. And I also will be turning this build on this session both to see how it works before, make sure everything is hunky-dory before... Wow, that is... I don't know where I came up with that. I'm not from the country, but I'm not culturally appropriating from them either. Blah, blah, blah. Point being, I need to keep grabbing items up there and dovetailing, bringing them down here whenever I can, because there's a lot of materials to move from that cotton gut stud build down here, including all of the Rolesias that I can dump into these botanical nurseries. Okay, now things should start flowing into this build. Let me double check that I've actually completed everything. Of course I've not, so let me... I'll have to take care of that. Yeah, this is another build that I will be activating a little bit later to avoid spoilage. I do want to connect up the caravans, though, eventually once I grab the ones from the Cotton Guts build. Let's see what else is missing here. Some long-handled inserter somewhere, right there. Okay, great. We are almost done with logistics science, other than turning everything on. The last thing we need to do is get the molecular decohesion tech, which gives us atomizers, which can turn all of the excess OG byproducts into something usable, or at least something that I can get rid of. So I'll be building that in the future down here, which will also give me a chance to vet how it works when I get this turned on. Let's run up here. I think that I need to... Or anything I need to do down here? I don't think there's much. I have those chests waiting for the OGs to start flowing, and I do need to start using up a little bit more power so that the tired OGs start getting created. Although once I turn on all of logistics science, there will be a lot more OGs coming through. There was one moondrop build over here that needed a little bit of work since it got contaminated, or rather both sides of the belt got moondrops on them when they shouldn't have. Now I'm going to finish cleaning up this cotton gut stud build, or as much as possible. Usually cleanup tasks are kind of fun for me because you get to unwind something that is sloppy looking, and that's definitely true in this case. I'm not saying that this build looks great or anything like that. But on the other hand, usually you also get to take the materials that are sitting there and do something with them, put them into an existing build, and that is not the case right now because there are so many intermediate products. So this is why I've been kind of monkeying with this thing throughout the episode and trying to do it in stages so that it wasn't just this overwhelming thing that I had to do for 20 minutes of moving stuff around, repurposing, and also finding boxes to dump the materials into somewhere. Although there will be some boxes here. Not going to lie, I'm just going to leave these cotton gut studs that I've made sitting in a box over here, waiting for the day that I will get a chance to use them. But at least with 9 boxes there, there's little chance that I will forget about them. Let's hope. Perfect. My steel build is done. That's what this flashing C down here means, which is great because I've just about finished cleaning up here, or at least, like I said, as much as possible, because there's still some cotton guts getting run through the build here. So I'm going to make one more trip down to my cotton guts area to drop off what I'm carrying with me and let these finish up. Looks like it's not done after all. I need to send some power poles up there. Not very much overbuild at all, which is fantastic. This is completely sustainable. I don't know why a few items still got overbuilt, but I will be figuring that out in the future. Let's hope that my train bots can deliver some power poles up there in time for the for my caravan to arrive with some wood. That would just be completely ideal. And yeah, we'll see if that steel build actually starts running kind of autonomously without my assistance. Seeing these flashing antimony mines, which is not the greatest actually, because this means that this build is not going to get fully fed. Maybe I can do a better job somehow. But yeah, that's not the greatest sign. I'll have to find more antimony somewhere. I think, yeah, I've got some not too far away, so I'll be able to belt them in. But it also reminds me that my antimony build has a little error. Yeah, that thing gave me so much problems for a singular build. And I'm going to clean that up while I'm right here. Okay, wood is here. So these burners should be heating up, and everything else seems to be running. So I just need to get a train out there to collect the steel. So I guess I will be dropping some more trains into the system, and we'll see if I can actually manage to get this done in one session. I feel like I need a raised platform here to dump the trains in there, because I'm always going to be worrying about getting run over while I'm there. So that takes care of that. Let's, I do want to run over here and grab the bots that I inserted, although there's only 50. Maybe I'll just leave them for now. Yeah, I'll leave them for now. I'll just turn off this flashing build problem sign, and I'll go clean up these last few items at some point. But for right now, this is fantastic. As long as I get a train or two in here to help me. Is this advanced too far? Is this train? Yeah, this is clear. A train can still go in here. So yeah, we'll see if some steel gets picked up, and then the steel already has a station to be dropped off at over here. So I'll work on a couple of other minor items while I wait to see if that happens, and we'll see if the everything is successful. If you were wondering what I was doing there, by the way, I was setting up another place that will drop items into the mall if they're necessary. In this case, I'm just putting in seaweed, because I'm sure pretty soon I will need to build some seaweed, and that will need some modules. So let's put my coke back and check my task list, because at this point the mental task list has run out and I need to go back to the actual digital one. More simple circuits, note, not right now. Fix filter and inserter on moss void. That's real quick. I'll go fix that. Fortunately, no caravan came through to deliver logs or moss, or I would have had a problem here, but I don't think one came through, because there's just no way I brought enough materials back through the cleanup train to have that problem. Another issue that I want to deal with real quick while I'm here is this copper caravan outpost. Yeah, it causes me problems. It causes me problems because when it needs to grab copper, it grabs so much copper that it starts messing up my simple circuits build. Like, just not enough copper flows through. So I'm going to take that away and put it elsewhere. Okay, now that is fixed. I actually kind of don't even need that depot of copper. Maybe I should retarget the whole thing, but for now, I won't worry about it. Let's see, what else? I need to set up a couple of caravans that are going down to that new biological sample and logistics science build that I was doing, so I'll do that. Grab a few more caravans out of the chest here. Probably the last few caravans that I'm going to take, so let's filter it and stop making any at all. And then, yeah, I'll find another thing to do. Like I said, verify that I'm actually getting steel through. Let's double check that I am. Haven't had a train come in, so that's a problem. They all got refueled. Wonder where they all went off to. Oh well, I'll put a few more into the system and see if the steel train shows up. And now I'm out of buildable trains, so yeah, if steel is the problem, one of the problems that I can't make more trains, so we'll see what happens to all those guys. But yeah, hopefully one or two shows up at the steel depot. Looks like one is going there right now. Fantastic. Although no steel is coming through, so let me figure out what's going on here. They're not picking up iron ore. Maybe I have a problem in this build. Well, good thing I left the bots out there, so I can fix this from a distance. All right, I've just set up the line to put logistics science into my research labs when I eventually get it. Set up the caravan that's going to bring it in. Also fixed a couple of things with my steel area, including one issue with the train schedule that, thanks to having hindsight of already played this once, I remember I needed to repair. Hopefully that'll keep my trains from flashing at me too often and going to the depot more regularly, because yeah, that was the problem. The depot schedule interrupt was not correct. It needed to be set up like this, with empty cargo inventory and destination full, no path, with allow interrupting other interrupts. At least I think that's how it needs to be set up. Let me know if you think it's wrong. So, next item. Let's see. Do I actually have a train with some steel in it? I do. This should get fixed up as soon as, yeah, this this train bot comes and delivers some more goods. Now my iron ore should be picked up and flowing freely, but I'll have enough steel in here to actually go ahead and test it out. So I'm going to send it off to the drop-off and reverse the belt that takes my steel out of the into the mall. I'm going to have it pulled in entirely from the train system, and we're going to just gamble that I've done this all correctly and it'll work out. So I'll be back after I reverse this belt, and also we'll need to set up something that makes it so that I clear out the pipes that will be on the wrong side of the belt. Be back soon. Okay, and I think that fixes it. Now I only have to deal with the fact that I have a large amount of steel buffered inside of this caravan outpost and this depot over here, and all of that needs to be taken away. So I'm going to deal with that and be right back. All right, lots of steel to put back into my system with those depots empty. Let's see. I think I'm mostly done. Let's look at my task list. I also want to check, well, let's check in on my cotton guts build first. Yeah, I need to put that in. And, oh, why are logs not here? That is not good. Oh, weird. Okay, that one is contaminated with seaweed. I'll have to go and fix that, and then check on the cotton guts. I think the seaweed contamination is from when I repurposed the caravan originally. I think this used to be a seaweed caravan to bring to the cotton gut stud area. So I'll do something else and then check in on cotton guts in a little bit. I can do these 2 items. First item is my moss void over here needs a better... Oh, wait, no, I've already done this. What am I thinking? Yeah, I cleaned that out, and... Okay, I guess I better check on cotton guts, or at least get rid of the seaweed first and then do it. All right, my cotton guts have just barely started to run. Well, at least I can set up the caravan that is meant to take them up to plasmids, I think. And also double check that this is working like, this should really be 1 belt over. Okay, so yeah, this should get going, although it's going to take quite a while for the seeds to percolate all the way through, and then for the pups to get made. So, yeah. I guess I'll have to wait till the next hands-off period to really verify that this build is working correctly, but give it my best shot. Let's see, what else can I take care of? I think... Yeah, I want to make my AUG generators ready to run at full tilt, so the first few were only linked up, and then the rest were kind of cut off from AUGs. I'm still going to limit them based off the power that is available, like the how much steam is inside of the geothermal plants, but I'll let all of the AUG generators have a crack at it. All right, so now this should work out. I didn't want the, I don't want the tire dogs on trains quite yet. In the future, yes, but for right now, they need to go into the boxes that will end up delivering them to the slaughtering area. Just burn those up. I'll connect this later when I'm ready to go, because otherwise I'll just create a bunch of spoilage that I'll have to deal with. My steel area is working really well. Hopefully that'll continue over the hands-off period, and I think it is time to actually go into that. I know this particular episode has been really crazy with me running around, partially because it is long and I had a lot of chores, partially because, yeah, I knew what I was doing, so I might have shortcutted some of the chat and discovery about what I had to do. I could have tried to role play faking that I didn't know what I was supposed to fix, but yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of, I'm not really such a good actor, as you can probably guess. So, yeah, let's go into hands-off period. I did spend an inordinate amount of time doing all those tasks, so it's not like I saved myself that much. Next time, we will definitely be getting into logistics science, although I think I will mostly be running it and testing how everything works after I get the molecular decohesion set up and can deal with the spoiled parts from, or the parts that will need to be voided from AUG butchering, rather than, you know, like being certain that it'll work next time, because, yeah, there's just too many things to turn on. I have to, you know, like I have to get this whole build turned on, and I have to get the AUG manure, no, that's the wrong area. This build all needs to run at the same time, and, you know, this untested area needs to start working, and I don't know if my power system will hold up when everything suddenly turns on. And oh, I need to turn on this fourth Pi build over here. So yeah, real fun. Anyway, thank you for joining me. Looking forward to seeing how it goes next time. I imagine my 2.5 day streak of no failures is going to fall pretty soon. See you then.